Hey, it's BlueZenigame, and welcome back to another Zarbicast. And today, like always, I have with me Captain Zarby.
You hate to see this kind of thing happen.
GURPS,
What's up?
the Love Slug,
Let's do this.
and our very good friend PSI Majora.
Hey everybody.
Alright guys, well today, there really wasn't too much news, right you guys?
Not really.
No, it wasn't that much.
Well,
Yeah, nothing was really going on this week at all.
considering most of the game industry had a massive case of diarrhea last week, I mean, there were no bowels left to shit out, so you know how that goes.
They're in that recovery period right now.
Yeah, the most we have to say is probably just the fact that the CirclePad Pro XL was announced. We all knew that was coming.
Boy, are we excited about it.
It's so
Dreadful.
stupid.
I'm guessing that the last iteration of the 3DS is gonna be the size of the Wii. Wouldn't be surprised.
It'll
At this
just be
point.
it'll just be the Wii. They'll just reprint it and just the 3DS Wii.
What I don't get is how they didn't cross their minds to, put the pad on the new 3DS, not make it a separate accessory.
Well, from what
I'm sure it did. I figured they just wanted to charge the extra money.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that's
that
right.
we can get more money out of the kids.
and what Reggie was saying was that they didn't want to fragment their audience, and they'll be like, "Oh, how could you make me upgrade right now? It's mandatory because of the CirclePad," which is bull in my opinion. Because
Well, isn't it already an upgrade?
well, I mean it is, but at the same time, it really there's otherwise the screen there's
It
not.
is, but if it had the circle pad already on it, there would be more of an uproar because it's just a complete it's completely better than the 3DS in every way. Then if it was
Yeah.
attached to it already, like
But I mean,
by doing this, they kind of save face.
But I thought that's what upgrades help to do, though. I mean, every video game console
Yeah,
has
but after what they just went through with the 3DS, they don't want to risk like really pissing off the fan base. Like, yeah, this will irk some people, but it's not really gonna cause an uproar.
Yeah, because I mean, it's only been only about a year and a half now. I mean, we went from 250 to 170 in the
Not
same
even
year.
that. It's been like a year and like 3 months.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, you guys, with that little bit of really not news out of the way, I guess we should really go ahead and we're do a topic discussion this week. We have a few different topics. Pretty excited for. The first one is going to be how video games are basically, for the most part, socially unaccepted by society. I just who wants to start us off in this conversation? Actually, PSI Majora, why don't you start us off with this conversation by an example?
All right, I'll start with my example. He's a good guy. He's one of my best friends, and every human being, he can do a lot of stupid shit from time to time. But we were at the mall, and I was trying to find some Pokemon cards for the trading card game, and I couldn't find them anywhere. So I went to go ask a random lady, and he went to ask since I was a little far off, and then he said yeah, hey, do you guys know where any what are they called, Pokemon cards, what are they? And this is a guy who basically grew up with Pokemon with a majority of people, and he's acting like he's never ever heard of it ever. And I don't know exactly what crossed his mind to make him think that that was a good idea in the slightest.
Just to save face with the stranger too, of all people.
That he's never gonna see again.
Yeah.
It's what's the point? You'll never see them. Who cares what they think of you?
That just really when I heard that, I laughed, and then I was just like, I can't believe that actually happened though, because if someone was just like, what are they called again, and when they know plain well what they're called, just trying to not look like a nerd or a dork, whatever you want to call it, that is ridiculous.
Well, that's the thing too. That term nerd now, it's to an extent, it's almost like a term that people want to use on themselves.
Right.
But they can only like certain things that make them a nerd. And if you go too far into that realm, then you're just become sort of, I don't know what the term for it would be. You're just like an outcast, though.
It's almost like in Japan how female otaku are considered undesirables. Like that's what they're labeled as.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they're considered undesirable, and basically the idea is no man would ever want to marry one of them.
What? I don't.
Personality.
Just because
What's
they're
that?
female and they're really into anime and games. What are you saying, Majora?
I was saying personality. What's that?
As long as they've got tits and ass, and that's all
Yeah.
you need.
We're talking about
Not
Japan
really.
here. There's not much of either over there.
Let's not get the women coalitions involved in this.
Yeah,
Well,
send your
God.
letters. Send your letters to Love Slug. I'll take the heat for that one.
Oh god. I just feel like there's a lot of okay, for example, Majora and I went to MagFest and it was a good time all around, right, Majora?
Oh yeah, totally.
So, I think one of the biggest things is that when you're there, you are 150% accepted by by everybody. Like no one's afraid to say what they like and all this stuff. Everyone's super open, and I feel like that's how I really wish society was. I think that's why people go to these for the most part. Is just the crowd that you're with. You get a feeling there that you never get in the real world.
Yeah, that's true. And kind of like a little bit of adding on to that, another thing is I've noticed is mostly like the older audience, like mostly like our parents think this way. They think like, you don't really have a life when you play video games and you go over to your friend's house to play video games, but it's like we don't go to these conventions, we don't go to tournaments, we don't go to each other's house, just to like play video games. If that was the case, we would just stay home and play video games. It's for the socializing aspect. It's for getting along with others and finding those that you can relate with and so on and so forth.
Exactly, and it's people think like you said that it's not like you're just doing it. You're in your room alone in the dark with the TV on, but it's how we connect to other people. This is our I don't know what the hell do other people used to talk to each other.
I actually had this conversation with my mom before too, because she was trying to understand like why am I like sitting online talking to friends? Like, well, they live in a completely different area right now, and I mean, it was just like it's more or less just a changing of times, really. Like back then, the only way you could hang out with friends was to like get on your bike and ride across town to get over to their house and hang out.
Well, I think a good comparison is like you were saying, what do other people do? And it's Facebook. Pretty much the people our age who deem video games unacceptable, they're the ones who are constantly on Facebook, and it's to connect to their friends, and that's the same thing we're doing. So why is it that Facebook is socially acceptable? Spending 8 hours a day doing absolutely nothing on Facebook is more acceptable than doing video games, and that you're actually doing something somewhat productive. You're actually working towards something while talking to friends.
There's media to back it up. The media has come up with these reports from psychiatrists and stuff about supposed video game addiction and how supposedly if you're playing I think it was something like between 30 to 40 hours a week of video games, you're classified as addicted.
Then what about all the people that are on Facebook 24 hours?
What if you're on Facebook for 30
They say nothing
hours?
about that. It's popular. It's so popular it's viewed as acceptable. Whereas games are popular, but there's still that stigma, that really goes far back. But there's just that stigma, especially with the older generation, that video games are still seen as antisocial, which is completely untrue, especially nowadays.
And the thing that kills me is that when it comes like if I have 3 friends at my house and we're all playing video games, which doesn't happen often because I can't seem to gather that big of a group that all want to play video games, unfortunately. But we're all conversing, we're talking to each other, playing games, all this stuff. The other day, I'd be hanging out with a bunch of my friends, right? We're sitting in the room, and what are they all doing? They are all on their phones texting, and I'm just sitting there staring at everyone, going, what is going on? Why aren't we communicating? Jesus.
Yeah, and somehow that's okay, but playing games with a whole bunch of friends is bad. Because I mean, like, even my friends back in Houston, like we ended up building a table for ourselves, like just so we could play Han somewhere all together in the same room.
It just really blows my mind. Like I'm hoping in the future, like I'm hoping that one day, and this is probably a good topic for another podcast later on because I know you guys want to bring it up, but how eventually I would hope that video games become popular enough to the point where they're viewed on TV like football and basketball and all that stuff.
It's what I want too, but really in this case, because I mean, really to go back to the heart of the discussion, I think about other reports I've read were just there's some people that'll pretty much claim like, okay, you just having like pretty much having a game collection, i.e. like more than 3 games, like more than 10 games, that means you're addicted.
I don't understand.
just the same.
It's the news that really brings up that stigma too, like the whole violence in video games and how if you play video games with guns, you're gonna murder a whole school of kids.
Once you have the media behind it, people support it. It all of a sudden it starts to hold weight for whatever reason. People, a good chunk of people who watch the news. They don't seem to want to form an opinion of their own, especially for something they don't understand or know nothing about. They feel like, okay, well, I can trust the news. They're telling me everything I need to know, so I'm informed of this now.
And that's what
really isn't the case.
That's what bothers me. The people who are reporting on it are the ones who don't understand it. They don't understand it at all because
they're the exact people who think it's weird.
Yeah,
to enjoy this. Like that's what mainly bugs me. People that think it's strange to enjoy playing video games, especially at older ages. Like they normally tell you, like, okay, like I'm in my early 20s. And sometimes even from old friends, I'll still get like, aren't you too old to be playing video games? And then, I think about their habits with online. I'm like, they're online more than I am. Like they're constantly glued to Facebook checking to see what the next update is, or they're constantly texting someone. I don't get it.
I think another thing that adds to that is that I've noticed, like, most of society just usually they'll take something and then they'll try to rationalize it in their minds to make it okay with themselves. Like, like they'll see a story of like this guy, so and so got killed in a car accident because he was drinking. They're like, oh, yeah, no, he was an idiot, but then they drink as much as they do. It's like I've seen like a lot of like my friends go like, oh, what games do you play? And I'm like, oh, I play like Sonic, Final Fantasy, Portal. And they're like, oh, you play a lot of kid games. And then they play like Call of Duty and Halo more than I do during the week and with regular video games.
That's another problem. Those are the games that are somewhat socially acceptable, and then those are the same games they start complaining about with all the guns and violence and everything.
Yeah. I think the main reason that those are socially acceptable when games like RPGs and whatnot aren't, I feel like because there's not that connection. Like, I really doubt anyone's ever gone, oh no, my main first-person shooter guy's dead. I can't believe this happened. Oh, this was so unpredicted, Like, no one has that connection to those characters.
I see. There's no emotions tied up in it.
Exactly. Yeah. And as sure as Captain Zarby will tell you, all the connections you have to, like, the Tails characters, you can go in long discussions about each character and whatnot.
You honestly care about them and, like, what happens to them. It's good characterization. And that's what makes me appreciate a game more, and specifically RPGs in general. They can make a character, something that's just data, seem human almost.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. I mean, over the course of the game, you actually enjoy the dialogue and the cutscenes. It's not like annoying and you just start skipping through. And I've played a fair share of RPGs where I've skipped through cutscenes because I just don't care about the story or the characters. And then I start to feel like, what's the point of playing it?
Another thing that I think adds to it as well is that most of the time RPGs usually act like as books. They have rising action, a climax, a plot, character development, things that they teach us in English class, which are good, but for some reason, just because it's all in a video game, I guarantee you if they made like a Macbeth video game or something, one of those fancy, famous old novels that every English teacher just goes crazy for, if they made that into a video game, they'd be like, oh no, see, they ruined it because of da-da-da, and then, it's just, I don't know, it's just, ugh.
Now I kind of want a book with some side quests. That'd be interesting.
A choose-your-own-adventure book.
I find, too, that games that include a lot of reading are also considered like too nerdy.
Well, we live in a society where being smart is stupid.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the main problem.
And oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, well, I'm just saying, is that why you think that Call of Duty and stuff like that is so popular? Because it's something they can pick up and drop really easily?
Yeah, it's mindless,
They don't think about it. You pick it up and you play it. You're not thinking about anything. All you get to do is run around and the goal is just to kill people. There's nothing else outside of that.
That's why I think, unfortunately, that shooters will probably be one of the bigger things to go into a mainstream, if they're ever had on TV thing. Because what is just reflexes and whatnot. Like, it's basically a lot of sports things are. There's not much to think about rather than just quick reflex and stuff like that.
Same for fighting games. It's like the visual.
Exactly.
You can see the stuff happening, and you don't need anyone to really explain it to you. with those two genres. You just see it happening and it looks cool to you. That's pretty much how it works.
Man, with Marvel vs. Capcom, I need all that shit explained to me. I'll just be watching what the hell just happened.
Well, see, that's what a lot of people like about it. They just like that it's flashy and colorful. That's all they need out of it.
Right.
I mean, that's like a marketing tool that pretty much anything uses, whether it's like a new like fashion design, a new movie, a new TV show. They show like all the funniest parts in it. They show the most gory stuff, the most action-paced stuff, just to grab your attention and make you want to get it.
That's why something like if they were to do a true sequel to Final Fantasy Tactics on the PS1, it wouldn't sell as well as it should. And just the same, I would think if you were to Let's Play or stream that game, you'd probably get people dropping out because there's too many questions they have to ask to grasp it. Like each character has something they contribute to your team for the overall battle. And that's, there's little intricacies underneath that. There's a lot going on there, and people don't really like to have a lot of questions on their mind. They just kind of want to see it in action.
I think one thing about this overall idea that really is sad to think about is the people who have grown up playing video games and all this stuff, but they don't have like a connection like we do with other gamers and stuff. They've never been to a magfest. They don't know that it's okay to like it. And it's stuff like that when society makes people like that feel like they should be ashamed of themselves. That's the stuff that really pisses me off, because I know there's kids out there.
That really does piss me off. Cause like, why is it socially acceptable to look up to like these Hollywood socialites? People who are famous for nothing else if just getting drunk and
having sex,
literally making an ass out of themselves and like ruining their family name. Why is that okay? But yet I play video games. I'm the bad guy. I'm some sort of I'm like a serial killer in the making.
Like a fucking pariah.
I've never understood that. It's like, okay, so you would rather me go to a club, blow all my money on liquor and shit, get drunk, pass out somewhere on the street or something, or me playing video games. Oh my god, why are you playing a video game?
Another thing I don't get too is like, okay, so it's okay to show your kids celebrities who get divorces all the time, who have affairs, who drink, do drugs. It's okay to show your kids that, but then, if you hear a story about one of the very rare cases of like a nerd going crazy, they labeled him as a nerd, like, oh, he went crazy because he plays Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto and he shot up a bunch of people, or he played video games till he died, and then kids are, oh, no, mommy told me not to hang out with people like that. But then it's okay to talk about all these Hollywood people who are obviously more worse role models than this.
That was an awesome point. That reminded me of the first Diablo 3 related death, which happened last month, I think. And I was reading through the comments, and I noticed people were blaming the game and Blizzard rather than the person who, sat there for 3 days straight and played the game.
No,
didn't get up to go to the bathroom. Didn't get up to eat either. And it should be solely the person's fault, but almost no one in the comments saw it that way. To them, it was just Blizzard made a game that was too addicting.
That doesn't. It's not like it's shooting. It's not like the computer just shoots cocaine darts into you or something, and just like that doesn't make any sense at all.
It's out of the developer's hand. You're supposed to be responsible with it.
They make it seem like
it's a tool of
People
Satan.
are teaching their kids not to really be responsible. Like, oh, there's always someone else you can blame instead of like taking responsibility for your own mistakes.
It's stupid. Because even his friends, when they were giving quotes, some of them were saying, "Yeah, it's awful what happened to him. Why the developer should feel bad. Why would they do something like this? Why would they make a game like this?" And like, it's not their fault at all. They were honestly just giving the consumer what they wanted.
Where the hell were his friends to get him to pull him away from the game too? Those are some nice friends.
Well, they claimed that it was the game that they tried, but it was the game.
Okay.
The game.
No, it's him.
Somehow that's all Blizzard's fault.
It's Blizzard's fault that you, as a separate individual, couldn't just go up to the console and just turn it off.
Yeah, hit that power button.
And it's
How hard is that going to be?
All the stuff that ever comes out is just negative. And even the way let's all remember the little preview E3 thing that came out from Nintendo, and they showed that guy playing ended up being Zombie U, that the nerd with the, was it unspecific action figure or whatever.
Oh
the hell.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. Like what do they do? I understand. I guess it was kind of supposed to be funny, but it doesn't really help. Like if someone came into my room and I was watching that, like come on, what are they gonna think the minute they see that? You know?
It's just there's such a weird like image of gamers in the mainstream society, and it seems like it's constantly changing to fit whatever situation they want to pin the whole community with.
Exactly.
And it's always going to be negative, and no matter what, it's always going to be negative. You never see like, oh man, this guy who played video games, he's really good at him. Oh man, he's a swell guy. It's always just, oh man, why the fuck doesn't he get out of his house and go do something?
And it's like another thing for TV is like if you ever see someone who's really into a game and has that nerdy look, whatever, it's always like an RPG, all those kind of games. But every time you see a cool guy, quotation marks there, playing video games, what is he always playing? It's a first-person shooter or something like that, because that's the only one that's okay. And yet that's the one that always. That's the thing. The first-person shooters always get a bunch of stuff for making people violent and wanting to shoot up the school, and I don't understand.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's constantly changing to fit whatever image they want it to be. I just find it so strange that like Captain Zarby's told me a lot of stories about posters on various forums who will basically they'll come on and they just say like, well, it's time to grow up. Like there's this certain age you have to reach as like a person who plays video games, and then you can't enjoy the video games you enjoyed anymore. You have to grow up and play the more mature shooting games. And I find that very sad, and I find it very confusing. Just why is that the case?
Yeah, and I just don't understand like so a little bit ago I got into Magic the Gathering, which is a pretty fun card game, I'd say. I was into Pokemon for a while, and that just wasn't cutting it for me anymore. And then randomly, after buying a box worth of cards, which is very expensive, I came to the realization, and it's not that I grew up or whatever, but I just came to the realization that I couldn't spend the money on it, anymore. And I love it, and I hope to play it one day again. But I just hate when people think, like there are people who come to the enlightenment that I got, but instead of saying, "Oh, this is really fun. I can't play it right now because I can't afford it," they'll just completely go, "Oh, this game is just for kids. I need to grow up. Like I need to start being an adult."
I think adding on to that too is like, I'll have people come to my house and be like, look at all this money you wasted on video games. And then I look back at them and think, well, look at all this money you wasted on like tickets to like go see a football game you'll see once, or like a bunch of football merchandise, or like, just like
or alcohol. Just how expensive like tequila is and vodka. That shit is not cheap, man.
And cigarettes, that's expensive too. And I don't understand why, I mean, like, at least I'm still finding use out of all these things. I don't just, keep it just for fodder's sake.
Just wish it was more open too, because I have so many. Like, I hang out with a lot of people, and I want to hang out and have a good time. Just like, hey, let's go play some video games. They're like, oh, I don't know about that. Let's go all drink and get drunk. And I'm just like, Can we just one night play video games? That's all I'm asking. Like, seriously.
This is just what I like to do. This is how I prefer to unwind, I guess you can say, especially at school. After classes every day, it's what I want to do. If I want to play games, it's what I'm gonna do. I don't have to do what's socially accepted. I don't have to go out and party just because that's socially accepted.
And I just really hope...
And that's what some of your friends feel you should do.
Exactly. They're like, oh, come on, you have to go have fun. I'm like, this is fun for me. And I don't care if it's not fun for you. Exactly. And I don't know. I really hope if anyone's listening to this that thinks they are alone, like if you don't have, what's happening here, like a nice circle of friends and whatnot, or just once you have to go to an event like a MagFest or any kind of con, really, you'll find a group, even though... some of the super hard anime guys might scare you away if you go to a straight anime convention.
And just in talking to the same group of people, don't be afraid to like express yourself. If you like something, just go ahead and do it. I had to personally, I had to go to a private school. I never been to a public school. I went to a Christian private school where there's like a 6-inch rule and all this stuff, but you were limited in what you can wear and stuff. But even still, yeah, I know. But even still, I found ways to express myself. I would wear like a Triforce belt buckle or like something like that, just to like kind of like keep myself out there to show like, hey, this is what I love. In my locker, I'd have like, little wallpapers of a video game stuff, and people gave me some like really weird looks at first, but eventually they come to the realization where a lot of people should come to, and that is, hey, this person's doing something he likes. He's not being offended by my failed attempts of an insult. He's actually a kind of cool guy. So,
and
don't be
honestly,
afraid.
putting
Sorry.
yourself out there, that's the way you make friends that also like the same thing. If you're wearing an item of clothing or something like that, you'll get someone, if you're wearing a Sonic shirt, someone just walk by, gotta go fast. You're like, oh shit, yeah, I love Sonic.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
you start talking about it, and before you know it, there you go. You just got a friend who likes video games, and that's a good start, It's honestly, wearing something with your interest is a really easy conversation starter.
I think one thing I want to add, though, is that despite the negativity that we've been saying about society, like shunning video game things, it is getting better than what it used to be. I mean, I don't know. I think, like,
I was about to say that too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. No, but like, like games like, yeah, granted, Angry Birds is not really a hardcore game, but it's starting to have people understand how video games are fun, how you can socialize with one another, and so on and so forth.
And I think it's good to see that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
This also isn't to say that the gaming community in general, like gaming society, isn't acceptable of some things as well. I mean, it would probably be definitely a different topic for another day, but it would be interesting to get someone who's prominent, like a prominent female gamer, to talk about kind of just the. Some people are so adamant against it, and for whatever reason, about girls being involved in video games in any way.
Yeah. I don't.
That's definitely something I want to touch on and kind of research more, because I've seen some comments where like people admit it just bugs them just that they're there, but I don't really understand that.
Yeah, that's another thing you have to learn.
It's really rampant in the community, and it's just. I don't know. Yeah, I'd like to get into that too, but it seems like it's almost like they want it to be a boys' club, which isn't to say like there's a lot of girls who pretend to be like, oh, gamer girl. There's the same thing with guys, but yeah, it's definitely very hostile for girls.
And one
Don't
thing
get me
everyone
started on that kid who will sit there and just, I'm a gamer and I just, what do you play, and just Madden and COD.
Oh god, I feel like that's another.
I guess you can label yourself what you want, but just generally, that's not what I see as someone who really plays games.
Right.
No, you're a guy who like COD and Madden.
I feel like that's one thing you got to really like. It's not all sunshine and rainbows over on the big group of gamer side, because you've heard our you done goofs. People, they're not all great when it comes to video games.
That some fanboys can get really ahead of themselves and not know what they're talking about, and spout things out of nowhere.
Just out of blind defense for whatever they're defending.
Because like it's okay to love video games like we do and stuff, but when people like us say that someone's addicted to a game or something, then there is an unhealthy point where that's
saying a lot, because we all really love games.
Yeah, exactly.
Saying a lot.
I don't even want to know how many hours we put in playing Minecraft that first week.
Oh god.
Oh god, I still put hours into Minecraft.
Yeah, when it first came out on PC, man.
Soon too, Majora.
Oh yeah, we do.
Definitely.
But I am really happy to see like society is opening up more. Like when stuff like Wolf Trap is having, events for like Video Games Live, or the Zelda Symphony Orchestra, which is coming up soon. Stuff like that, it makes me happy to see that these big places are, it's out there. Like stuff is happening for video games. That's not just a convention. Like you can go out and listen to music for it and stuff.
Yeah.
I actually, you've been to Video Games Live, right, Blue?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I went a couple years back when I lived back home in Houston, and it was interesting because when you go out there to get the tickets, you're out in like, it's actually an actual symphony house. So it's like where they actually do orchestras. And when you're out there getting the tickets, some people who would usually go to the symphony, people who live in the city, would be walking by and what's going on tonight? There's a lot of people here. And then you'll turn to them and just, it's a Video Games Live performance. They play live video game music. And I could not tell you how many frowns I got. Like I would just, they would just scowl at me and then walk away without saying another word. And I found that very, very interesting.
Like I'm listening to like the same type of stuff you listen to. It's just happened to be like a different version of a song I like from a video game.
Exactly. Like it's orchestral music. It just happens to be from a video game. Like if you walked in and you heard it, you'd be, oh, this is really nice. What is this from? Video game? Oh, video game.
Yeah,
I never.
If you didn't know otherwise, then why would it matter?
I actually have a personal story. Everybody here already knows it since I've told them. But once again, same friend years ago. And by the way, he's completely different now. He's not so much on the whole being worried about everybody, what they think. He's actually really audacious about it, like us. But we were at a movie theater waiting for our class to get there and watch a movie. And I was just like listening to music on my iPhone. And I was just like, having it loud. I think it was like something from Sonic CD 3D Blast, I think. I don't remember. And he was just like, turn that down. People are going to hear what we're listening to. And I'm just like, dude, just chill out. It's fine. I mean, like.
I don't know if I believe you on the chat. Next time we're all hanging out, I'm dressing as a Pikachu and we're going to the mall. And I want him to stand right next to me the entire time.
He has. I mean, like he's told me that he's like been in his dorm, like playing like Sonic Colors music, and then people will be like, "Oh, like what music is this from?" And then like once again they do the same usual thing, but he's just spreading the word, I guess.
Yep. Speaking of music, segue.
That's a good segue.
Yeah, but now we're going to talk about video game music, basically. What about video game music? I'm not really sure, but we're going to talk about video game music.
God,
we will find something.
I know I'm going to talk a good bit because, as I know Blue definitely knows, I am a huge video game music enthusiast. It's like, it's definitely like my music that I listen to nowadays is literally 90% video game music, just because of how amazing and well done it is. So
PSN Majora gave me a big chunk, like my Zune. I don't have an iPod, I have a Zune, and it's I don't know how many gigs full, and it's all video game music, and I just don't know where you find it all, honestly. Like, where do you get the time to download this stuff? But it's awesome. God.
Each game is an album. Like, you get any game, and the soundtrack is guaranteed to be at least 60 songs short.
Because, like, what was it, about a year ago or now, Love Sug, that you gave us all, like, 60 gigs of video game music?
Jesus!
Oh, yeah,
nice.
I was screwing around on the 4chan board one night, and some guy came on, and he came on with a bunch of links to a whole bunch of different soundtracks, and I okay, what the hell? And since then, it's pretty much doubled the amount of video game music I have in my library, and it's just, I don't know, maybe it's my collective nature, I like having all of it, but... yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. Most of my music library is video game music.
I really am happy though to see stuff like Video Games Live being out there, because I mean, when you're hearing it, like, all the 8-bit stuff sounds great and whatnot, but when you're hearing the orchestral scores for them, like, they did an amazing job. Like, it isn't just noises and beeps and stuff like people think. Like, it's amazing music, like, down to the core of it.
Yeah, like Majora, I've actually had had a experience like almost the exact opposite from you, because I was riding with my friend. He was like, "All right, just put something on. I don't even care what it is." So I put on I think it was Asteroid Coaster from
nice.
Sonic Colors, and he was just like, "Whoa, shit! What is this from?" Like, it's from Sonic. No way, that's from a game. Like, yeah, like a lot of video game music's really good. And like later on, he's like, "Hey, do you have like a lot of that on your computer?" Yeah, I can bring it over on my external hard drive. And like after that, he started listening to a lot of it.
I think a big helping to the video game music is getting like more popular thing is the fact that like techno and dubstep stuff is really popular, because it kind of melds in a little bit into it, and it's a gateway opener to video
I noticed that like one thing that's really helped to get people into like mostly like more music is like, because I know like Sonic Generations, that soundtrack for classic Sonic, it's mostly like pop music. It's got that style. So I know a lot of people, like I've gotten them into like City Escape and like
I've had a lot of people turned off by how corny it is, honestly. Which I understand, but it's like if you know Sonic, you know it's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
it's meant to be corny.
It to hear their ears, like, because a lot of pop music nowadays is usually just partying, sex, drinking, and then you hear something about escaping from the city. What is that? That sounds new and interesting.
I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe. That song.
Oh, please no.
But another thing that I can add that I know that a lot of us agree with, and I know that like Captain Zarby, he's played Chrono Trigger. Like, a lot of things that video game music can do that regular music can't is that it can paints a picture. It can like do things without words, and that's a very hard talent to do. You know, like video game music's able to, without even playing the game, you can think this plays in a lava area, right? But like, what the hell is lava music? That doesn't even make sense.
I know, but it only makes sense to people who've played games like us. Like if you hear like an underwater theme, you know it's for a water level. Like,
like,
hands
in a
down.
water setting.
Yeah, but movies follow the same concept too. Like, you know, like if you like watch Finding Nemo, I guess, or Ice Age, you know, when you're underwater, like in an ice cave, it sounds like they're there, even though that doesn't really make sense. But for some reason, people are turned off by it because it doesn't have words.
I mean, just to speak to the potency of like music in video games, I can look to no other game than Sonic 06. Hands down, quite possibly the worst game I've ever played.
Oh, yeah.
And it still manages to have a really good soundtrack.
That's the thing about
That is-
Sonic.
absolutely
I still
true.
love listening to Crisis City from that soundtrack, even though that is probably the most aggravating level in a video game, and I've never played in my life.
How important do you guys say that music is to a video game? Like, do you think music, like depending on a game, can make or break it, like the tone and all that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah,
It really
totally.
can, because it helps set that ambiance. I know, especially for like shit like Fatal Frame, like there's like very little music in there, but the music that there is, it's like that like deep growling kind of sound. Like it like sets the mood like perfectly for the entire game.
And I'd say one really great example. I really wish you guys could play it. Was Journey once again. Journey is half like visual art and the rest is like sound. Like the music is almost telling the story because none of the characters talk. You know, there's no speech bubbles or anything. It's all just visuals and music, and that music is almost just telling you what's going on. I love when a video game does that kind of thing.
That's how a lot of the Mario games are, the newer 3D Mario games. I mean, there's no real voice acting. I mean, Mario will say a few things. I mean, outside of Sunshine, but like a lot of the music kind of moves it along. I noticed that a lot with Galaxy as I've been playing it.
Yeah,
And it sort of moves the story along, and it sets the tone for what's happening.
I do like the soundtrack for Galaxy. It's really good.
Yeah,
I liked it, but in all honesty, I preferred Sunshine's. It felt like there was more variety in it.
Yeah.
Sunshine, I think, is still a better game, but
I do love that. Or
that like that one like when you go in the special stages, the music for that's really good too.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that
was really good.
Special stages.
Jeez. But and then you have video games that just have really good music. Like I think the best example that doesn't really affect the tone or anything of the game is just Mega Man, because like the first Mega Man's, you know, you just jump and shoot man, you know, and that's all you did. But the music was awesome. Like you're just like kind of invigorated. Like, yeah, this is awesome. I'm gonna go kill everything.
It really was like it's the music that robot ass kickers listen to, I guess. And you felt like you were the Mega Man.
I think another good example is like fighting games, like where the music isn't really necessarily pertinent to what's happening at the time, but like something like the King of Fighters 13 soundtrack, that is some of the coolest music I've heard.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of rare though in fighting games. And I feel in most cases, like KOF 13, really good soundtrack. MVC 2, good soundtrack. MVC 3 had really good character themes, but it's really hit or miss with fighting games. It's not really.
Yeah.
It's not really something that's kind of consistent in the genre.
Do you guys I say we should all name one song that really set a mood for the moment of a game for you.
Oh,
Just
God.
Man, on the spot. We haven't prepared these.
let's
so.
do that. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys. I am gonna choose the song when you fight Gary at the end, because I just feel like you've been building up to it, and it gets you ready to just beat the crap out of all of his Pokemon. I love that. I don't know. For me, like when I heard that, every time I hear that, I'm just like, oh shit, like let's do this. Like it's such a good, like I feel like it's all been building to that, and the music just explodes and lets you get all of the feel that you have for Gary throughout the game out on him.
For me, I'm gonna say "Blinded by Light" on Final Fantasy 13, the battle theme.
Good choice.
That one is so good. Like I love that whole soundtrack for Final Fantasy 13, but it's honestly one of the best battle themes I've heard. in an RPG, and especially in a non-Tales game.
For me, as much as I could definitely go on more about this game in general and its amazing soundtrack, but it's called The Corridors of Time from Chrono Trigger, and it's the part where you basically go back in time, but all the islands are floating up in the sky and everyone's using magic, and you're just like, is this the future? But it's just like something about that music gives it like this dream effect. It gives it this whole the surrealism of it. And it's just, I don't know, it just it makes my spine tingle every time I hear it. It's just, I don't know, it just really puts you in the place when you're there.
Really good pick.
That's how it's supposed to be.
I think for me, it would probably have to be "Concept of Love" from Jet Set Radio Future. Like,
shit!
Like when I was a kid and I first got that game, as soon as I got to that main menu screen, it was just, oh shit, get hype, let's like I was almost like tempted to try to like bust out my rollerblades and just start skating down the road for no reason.
Yeah, I think for me, it's an odd pick, but probably King Dedede's theme from any of the Kirby games. There's something about it. Yeah, something about it's always gotten me pumped. Like, okay, DDD, I'm here to kick your ass, and that's how it's gonna go. It's something about the way the music works, and I love the soundtracks to all the Kirby games. So, but King Dedede's theme is one of my favorite.
I don't know why, but honorable mention. I don't know why that reminded me of this, but New Pork City and Mother 3.
Oh my god,
I love that song.
That's a great one.
I think we can all agree that basically every Sonic final boss, a Supersonic song, is really just pumps you up.
Oh god, yes. Sonic Adventure 1.
Oh jeez. I gotta say, it really killed it for me when you get into the second stage and it drops "Open Your Heart," and I'm just like, what is going on?
That kind of upset me when I was a kid.
They should have switched it. They should have had it orchestral and then "Open Your Heart."
Yeah,
that was probably one of the times when I felt most immersed in a video game. Was that Perfect Chaos fight?
And I
like "Open Your Heart," like that butt rock, like it just gets you so ready to kick some ass.
I think that's a big example as to how you can mess up like a thing, because everyone's really ready. Oh yeah, we're doing this. We're Supersonic. Oh shit! And then when they switch songs, you almost drop completely like that I'm gonna kick everyone's ass feel. You know what I mean?
You lose your rhythm.
But I feel it feels more powerful with the setting. I feel the adventure games are really good at that, because it was like, okay, this is the last stand. You gotta you're there to like save everyone because no one else can do it. So especially like that BioLizard fight in Adventure 2 and Perfect Chaos.
Yeah, I was gonna mention BioLizard. I thought they did a better job with BioLizard because it played Live and Learn like the whole time, and I felt like that got me more pumped. Because
just the intro, everything leading up to Perfect Chaos, I don't know why it wins out for me.
Yeah, I definitely, if Open Your Heart would have played the whole time, definitely would have been my top, because I like Open Your Heart much more.
I really liked Solaris Phase 2. That was awesome for me.
I was actually just about to say that. Like, I wish that boss fight was a lot better, because that fucking music, like, it gives me like, oh shit, I need to stop this thing.
I've seen people complain about that, how the end boss fights are now, they're all like orchestral remixes of the intro theme, but I like it. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, because it's kind of the thing you're always listening to and stuff, and then it's just like it goes into super awesome mode where your shit's about to go down and you got to save the world.
I feel like I should mention I didn't really like the Time Eater music for Generations.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty
I don't know how that you guys felt
I changed it to a Palm Tree Panic, and that made the fight just awesome for me.
I put just any boss fight music I threw in there to make it better, because that really was like that. Now that I think about it, that was really bad. What were they thinking with that music?
It wasn't bad. I wouldn't say.
I played Sonic Boom. That's my favorite song.
I wouldn't say it's bad music. I just think it's bad final boss music. And I was just like, this is really it. I expect more of an oomph to my final boss music.
I gotta say, one surprise for me was Sonic and the Black Knight. I expected Knight of the Wind, but what we got...
Oh my god, with me. Fuck
yeah. Which was really good, and I didn't expect it, but it was totally pumped me up. I was just thrown off at first because I really thought Knight of the Wind was going to start playing, and it didn't. But With Me is probably one of my favorite boss ending musics too, especially the Crush 40 version, which is better, of course. All their versions are better.
Strange honorable mention as like a video game, like final boss music Sonic wise, and I think Captain Zarby can agree with me on this one. It's the final boss music for Sonic Advance 3, the extra boss, where they play a remix of the Phi battle from Sonic Battle. I don't know
Yeah,
why,
I
but I
didn't
just
even
think
think about that.
I think that one's cool just for the sense it's like it brings back like memories of like, hey, you remember me? Well, I'm kind of back, kind of, and then like here, let's make this a little bit more cooler. I don't know. I just really like that one for some reason.
We all really have Sonic's dicks in our mouth, don't we?
Let's be honest, it's one of the series where like the soundtracks have been good like every single time. Like
Yep.
even the different versions, like I can listen to 3D Blast. I won't give my opinion on the actual game, but 3D Blast, the soundtrack for the Genesis version, that was awesome. But it was also kind of like the prototype soundtrack for Adventure. And then you listen to the Sega Saturn one, it's completely different because it's composed by the guy who did Sonic R. So it's the same game, but on a different platform with a completely different soundtrack. And I just think about across all the Sonic games, especially the Genesis ones, the soundtracks were just they were so like notoriously good.
And I feel like
They were so amazing to me.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's never like a bad Sonic song. I can't. I feel like there hasn't been like a really bad one at all. Like there may be some that I don't like nearly as much as some others, but normally like their soundtracks are pretty spot on.
Good,
I mean, the only one you guys mentioned was the RPG Sonic. Apparently, that was the only one.
Sonic Chronicles.
Oh god.
Yeah, I don't care for any of the music I've listened to in that game, honestly.
The only decent one is the fourth battle music. Every other song is crap.
Can we at least be fair and say that's BioWare? That's on
Yeah, let's go.
BioWare and
Yeah.
not Sega.
I am gonna throw out one that is Sega. I think you guys will agree with me. Race to Win, not a good song.
Oh,
I haven't heard it that much to say much about it, but from what I hear, it's just kind of. I don't
it's horrible. It is legitimately horrible.
I don't think I've heard that one yet, actually.
I was playing it in the car.
Remember Sonic Rivals?
Oh,
Race
oh
to Win.
God. Oh yeah, it's
I
terrible.
thought, was that Sonic Rivals? I thought that was Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing.
No, it's
It was
Sonic Rivals too.
Oh, okay, it was both.
And was it Rush that had Too Black, Too Strong or whatever?
Yeah.
That was a good one. I really liked that. That was a good final fight.
All of Rush's songs are really good.
All of
It was
Sonic.
funky.
I just want some kind of giant flash drive with every Sonic song ever.
I already gave you that.
Oh. Oh God. Okay. I think that was a good chunk of video. I mean, do you guys have anything else to add to this video game music spot?
Nothing else other than I really like orchestral soundtracks, and I feel like Tales of Rebirth has one of the strongest Tales soundtracks. So I advise you guys and anyone listening to look it up, especially if you played any Tales game, because we didn't get that one here. I imported it, and I was blown away by the soundtrack.
I do have one final question we can go off of from this to ask you guys. Everyone name one song that you think is like really famous and that even people who haven't played it know about it. Like one really big song.
One Winged Angel.
Yep.
Oh,
exactly
God.
that's exactly what I was thinking.
One Winged Angel. Like all I saw in the theater rhythm threads on Game FAQs was just, where's One Winged Angel? Is it in? Is it in? Just, yes, they wouldn't forget like the most noticeable piece of Final Fantasy music.
That's always the outro to Video Games Live, no matter
Yep.
what. It's
Yep.
always One Winged Angel.
And it's fucking
Dear
awesome
Lord.
too when he comes out with the
Feel
guitar. I just loved that when he came out with the guitar and everything. I was like, this is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of
I just
pumped.
wish they would change it up. Like, yeah, One Winged Angel is cool, but oh, come on, try something new.
I
But
think
there would be a lot of backlash.
I think
They're
the one that
gonna-
really beats.
Me, but I actually hate that song.
Do
I
you?
absolutely despise
Really?
it.
Really? I actually like it.
I really dislike it. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know. It might be because I just hate most of the fan base for that game. But I don't
Yeah.
know. It's weird. I just don't like that song whatsoever.
I know they do it all the time, but I do like it as an outro. But you know what, Love Slug, just for you, I'll go find the next one nearest you and I'll make them outro with an Animal Crossing song.
I would love that. I would
Oh
love
god, that'd be
it was
great.
1 p.m. if they played 1 p.m.
Oh
as
god.
the outro.
Oh my god.
Those Animal Crossing soundtracks, it was like Cricket from Sunny composed them himself. Like he just beating on the trash cans and I made it so sexy.
Made it so sexy, you guys.
Oh,
Like
God.
the songs in that game had like this sort of calming effect for me at least.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
For sure, and it only made me want to play the game more.
Not to mention, it's one of the few games that has not a lot of games have nighttime music, but like it has like very good nighttime music, and I know that me and Captain Zarby are huge fans of nighttime music.
Definitely.
I don't know about you guys, but anytime I was playing Animal Crossing, it was like at 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yep.
Especially for Wild World for me.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, it does kill me when I'm going through the soundtrack you gave me, Majora. I'm just like rocking out to something, and then it's on shuffle, and it's just do 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 do. I'm just like, no, you killed it! What the hell? I was so pumped. God damn. And also, I feel like another big famous one is probably the first intro song for the first Kingdom Hearts. A lot of people know that song, even though they never played the game.
I was gonna say that you took mine.
You walk away. You don't hear me say.
I'm surprised no one's brought this one up. The Super Mario Brothers theme.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
damn,
God.
you got me there.
At work, who are like 30, 40, haven't played a Nintendo console in like 30 years, and they're just do 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 do. I mean, yeah.
That is a good call. I didn't even think of it. I think it was so obvious that I overlooked it.
Yeah, I was surprised you guys picked One Winged Angel, and then like the Kingdom Hearts one threw me off. I'm like, what about Mario?
Well, they played the shit out of that commercial though with Simple and Clean. Like
Yeah.
people who don't
Oh,
even
yeah,
Kingdom Hearts, they probably know that song if they were to hear it.
Well, that's probably all the really big. Do you guys have any that I wouldn't be thinking of?
I really can't think of anything.
Green Hill Zone, I guess. People could pick that up. Not as much. You took mine, so I don't know now.
Gotta be simple and clean. I don't understand the fucking title. That's okay. That's another discussion. I'm not gonna get into Kingdom Hearts right now. I'll wait until Dream Drop Distance comes out to talk about that shit. That's a big thing for me. I feel like I could go on for a whole episode about Kingdom Hearts. All right. And speaking of games, like we've been talking about this whole time, what are you guys playing this week? That's not on your backlog.
I am playing Metroid Fusion for the Game Boy Advance. On actually the 3DS
fun.
when I got the ambassador.
Do you love it? Because I love that game.
It's really good. They do a good job of scaring the fuck out of me when I don't expect it. When I'm seeing the fucking other Samus and like I don't know. I'm in this one part where just like I'm just chilling in this one level, and all of a sudden this huge fucking shadow thing flies in the background. I'm like, the fuck was that? And then just flies by again. I'm like, what's going on? And I still don't know. So hopefully, I'll
never forget just walking. It's like do an adventure, getting some beams and shit. Walk into a room and just and it's just walking on the bottom. I'm like, oh god, don't see me, see me, please.
The one that freaked me out today, actually, I was just chilling, minding my own business, and like I just previously thought, when the fuck is this thing gonna appear? I'm walking, and then it gets all dark, and then the door behind me opens. I'm like, oh fuck, and I fucking bolted for it, and then like I was just like, let me do a super bomb to get away, and then it just opened up everything, and then it saw me. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a really good game. I like that one so far.
Anyone else?
I've been playing Muramasa, the Demon Blade on Wii.
Oh yeah,
I decided to just kind of order it the other day because it was so cheap and I've been waiting to play it. And it's a really damn good game. I love Vanillaware games. It remains to be seen if I'll like it as much as Odin Sphere. I loved Odin Sphere. When I got it, I played it one night and I didn't touch it for a while. But earlier this summer, I kind of went on a spree and went crazy with it, and I really enjoyed that game. I will say the art's just as good. It's Vanillaware is always at their best with art design and stuff like that. But other than that, I've been playing Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 as usual, and Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown on the arcade.
I missed. Was the Virtual Fighter the ones that way back in the day, like the last level was like underwater or some shit?
I don't remember.
That was Virtual Fighter.
You've probably played Virtua Fighter before, though. It's pretty much like the grandfather of 3D fighting games.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think my favorite guy was like a ninja-looking dude or something.
Okay, there is a Kage. There is a ninja character in the series.
I'm just trying to remember. I'm pretty sure it was that one. Anyway.
I did have a question, Captain Zarbi. How do you like the controls for Muramasa?
They're good. People were saying there wasn't enough depth, but I've been playing through it, and it's really good to me so far. Everything's responsive. You're literally playing like a moving painting. That's like how good the game looks. Same with the Odin Sphere. But
That's
the
really
controls are
cool.
just fine. You like pretty much everything combat wise it involves the B button in some way.
Okay.
Your normal attacks are B, and then your combos are matching B for the just for the rapid slashes. But there's other moves like hold B and press down. You can do this sort of like it almost looks like Tempest from the Tail series.
Oh,
In a
okay.
way. Yeah, there's a lot of different moves. There's a lot of stuff to it, and you can carry 4 swords at a time that are equipped. And there's this interesting mechanic where your sword can break in a way, whereas you can't use the ability and its attack power is severely reduced if you're because there's like a parry system in a way. But rather than let it be broken, the parry system reduces your special move meter for that sword. Each sword has its own unique special move, by the way. And
Oh, okay.
once it breaks, you need to switch to your other sword, and then over time, that sword it'll recover and go back to its full strength and everything
That's
like
pretty
that.
cool.
The game's really awesome. Yeah, you press L and you switch swords on the fly. And one thing I love is whenever you switch swords, it does this giant like full screen hitting attack where like
Oh,
all
that's
the enemies on the
awesome.
screen
How-
get slashed.
That's
It's
so
How
so
much
cool. I
is
love
it?
stuff like
How much
that.
can I find that for?
I got my copy on Amazon for $8 with shipping. It came out.
What?
It came out to like 10 or 11 with shipping. And
Wow.
Oh,
I gotta
shit.
say, after playing just 2 hours of this, I really would have spent $50 on it when it launched.
Wow.
This game is
Definitely a must buy
amazing.
then. Yeah,
So
I was
if you can find it, pick it up because I'm starting to see it disappear more and more at GameStop. So, but I'd recommend Amazon for anyone out there that wants to play this game. Get it cheap on Amazon.
All right. Love Slug, what have you been playing?
I've been playing some Pokemon Conquest. Definitely really enjoying that game. We talked about that last week. Won't really go into that. And I've been going back to Final Fantasy VI actually.
Huh.
How you liking it?
I actually really love this game because
I love that it's an ensemble in a way. There's technically no real main character. Terra is kind of the main character. Everything revolves around her. But I like how it's an ensemble cast.
yeah, you explained that to me, and I definitely like how you're playing through all the different stories and they sort of meet up. And like I think that's really cool. And like I told Captain Zarby before, he wasn't really a big Final Fantasy fan back in the day, and I never was myself. I played a little of 7, and like that was kind of it. But I'm starting to get into them now more, and this is probably definitely one of my favorite that I've played. I've only really played a few of them, but I'm definitely really enjoying the game. I like the story, and I like Captain Zarby said, I like the ensemble cast, and it's just a really good game.
I'm kind of glad that you said that you were playing that because I've been extremely intrigued about playing Final Fantasy VI for like the longest time.
Play it because I got intrigued because it was on sale on PSN, and I always hear from the fan base people they're not as vocal as maybe the Final Fantasy VII backers, but I hear from people that have played like hundreds and hundreds of RPGs that they consider Final Fantasy VI to be the best Final Fantasy and possibly one of the best RPGs ever made. And the more I play through it, I'm really starting to see that I don't know if it'll beat out 12 for me, because especially on the gameplay aspect, it's an older game. But I can even say like sprite wise and gameplay wise, it's aged well. It doesn't feel like you're playing a game from like the 90s. You know, it still feels very current in a way. It almost feels like a current handheld RPG today on the DS or something.
Good.
Oh, all I heard.
It's nice to be able to understand the suplexing a train joke now too. Now I can really understand that, and I think it is.
It's just all I had to hear was just the theme of Terra and like the final boss music. I'm just like, I have to play this fucking game. It sounds too good to be true.
Terra's a really good character when you really start to get into the story more. It's a pretty well written character, I feel.
Yeah, if you like a strong female lead, then definitely pick it up. Lead as much as a lead in an ensemble can be.
And not to backtrack, but I don't know why I was reminded while listening to you guys just now, but the what is it, Majora, the final song from, was it Blue Dragon?
The seal is broken from Blue Dragon.
I love that song so much.
The song is fucking amazing. I just remembered it too.
But do you love the boss theme?
What about the battle theme?
Oh no, not the boss theme. Oh god.
Okay, but what are we on? All right, GURPS.
I haven't been playing much this week at all. I was in an accident yesterday, and I was actually trying to play Conquest some, but I started just not feeling too well, so I just ended up laying down. But for the most part, Pokemon Conquest, and I've been grinding more on fucking Diablo. That's always fun. Just trying to earn my. Yeah, I'm regretting my decision now. Now I'm just gonna try to make money off the real money auction house and try to like get a refund in a way, and then pay for shirts that we found recently.
Oh.
Oh God, Redbubble.
Yeah.
Blue's gonna kill all of us in our wallets.
God. That's so much. There's so much, man. I don't understand. But it's awesome. If you guys haven't checked that out, you need to check that site out. It's pretty amazing.
Show us some love too, Redbubble.
Yeah, we're plugging your site.
We're plugging you. Why don't you send a couple of shirts our way?
We'll send you an email with the ones we want.
And unfortunately for me, I haven't really been playing too much except for attempts at my backlog game. So we could transfer into that now as I complain about how much I really hate the last level for Mega Man X2. Like, at least I'm playing it, so that's good, right, you guys?
You need to play it more, Blue. You really do.
It's so, like, you guys watched me. I streamed it for a little bit, and, you know, everyone was watching.
I'm pushing you to the point of annoyance with it, but I want you to finish it so we can talk about it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm on that wagon as well.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna make sure this week when I go home I bring my Wii so I can finish up Xenoblades, because I am like right at the end, but I still have 10 hours probably to go.
Yeah, the way I'm doing this, I probably have 10 hours to go too. This is just ridiculous. I don't understand why I can't be. I think I need to just go back and get all the sub-tanks so I can heal myself during the boss fights and stuff, and it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But it's hard, man. It's just, this is why old video games were good, or, you know, because they were hard without just being straight cheap.
True.
That's something we could go into on a later date, I guess. Like the difficulty in video games. How sometimes it's more an artificial difficulty, like fucking Diablo, or like real difficulty, like where the game itself is just hard, not from bullshit mechanics.
I'd say we could definitely hit that right after the backlog, because we are only at an hour right now, believe it or not.
All right, fuck you, Blizzard, for those stupid fucking effects on the goddamn elites. That is bullshit, and you know it.
Down, GURPS, down. We have to finish the backlog.
I mean, I can't even tell you how many hours I've put in just trying to kill one fucking mod that like had some bullshit affixes. Like, people out there that have been playing Diablo, I'm pretty sure you can feel me on this. Jailer, Waller, Frozen, Arcane Enchanted. What the fuck am I supposed to do? I get trapped, I get walled in, and then they just put lasers all around me and I die instantly. Inferno is fucking stupid.
I wish we could have had what was his name? Gazoo with us. He would have had a few choice words.
Gonna have a lot of angry Blizzard fans because GURPS just went in raw, no condom on him. Not gonna like that at all.
What before we get into all of that, let's go down. How's Galaxy going, Love Slug?
Pretty good. I got pretty close to the end this week. I had a lot of work this week, so I didn't get a chance to play as much as I wanted to. But I'm right at the end. I really like it. It's a really good game.
Are you're going just through story? You're not 120 starring it, are you?
I've been toying with the idea of doing that the whole time I'm playing, because like the special stars will come up, and I just damn it, I gotta beat this game, and I want to go get those special stars. And I got really mad at that mole fight, where it's like you're supposed to do it with just one one little life thing, and every time I would get him to the end, then he'd hit me, and I just fuck this, I'm not doing this right now. But I might go back and actually do the 120 stars.
You just wait. I think I'm pretty sure it's Galaxy 2 that you have a bunch of bosses to fight. It's like a gauntlet, and you can only get hit once.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that.
It's really terrible.
Galaxy 2 ended up being like a challenge game.
Yeah.
In a lot of senses. Like a Mario challenge game.
Because I know a lot of like hardcore Mario fans were just Galaxy's too easy, and then they made Grandmaster Galaxy, and they're like, there, have fun.
Yeah, basically. So I'm really glad they did that though. They're just like, oh, it's too easy. Well, okay, here's the main story for the regular people, and all you people saying it's too easy, here's the rest of the game. And I'm glad they did that.
I just remember that one day watching Captain Zarby trying to do one of the bonus levels, and he like quit after like 20 minutes. Like, no, this is bullshit. We're done.
The bird races were immensely entertaining. I've seldom seen you angry.
Oh, those stupid controls. Why would they do that where you have to move the Wiimote to control it? I thought that was one of the dumbest decisions ever.
Because it's motion controls. Isn't it fun? Aren't you having fun?
I think that brings me to another point. The point I do want to make about Galaxy is I really, really hate the waggle controls. Because it's a really great game, but there are times when I get fucked over by the controls, and that's bullshit. A game should never do that. I think that ties into the whole cheapness versus difficulty thing. In a game, like when you're fighting with the controls to actually play the game, that's bullshit. It should never be that way. I mean, for the most part, they're pretty fluid, but sometimes I do get screwed over by them, and I don't like that.
Speaking of waggle, just one thing I really recommend when you start Galaxy 2 is you should definitely just have a second player use the Luma, because it's really fun. It adds a little bit more in terms of stuff they can do, because they actually freeze enemies and stuff in the second one, which is pretty cool.
But, horrible. They pretty much face fuck them.
Dear Lord.
It's true though. They're just like, oh yeah, you like that? Freeze, bitch.
Lumas are just awful in general. The fact that you just shoot star bits into their face and they just like pop,
fucking explode.
They're gross, man. I don't like them.
It's probably on the internet, but I want to see just like a Newgrounds video of and they're eating the stars and and there's just blood everywhere. Like it's got to be out there. It has to be. But okay, who else is backlogging?
I don't really think I have a backlog game. If anything, I'm just trying to finish off Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing by getting all the achievements.
Lucky?
I just gotta get the last one where I just need to basically race till I get my gold license, and that's about it.
Do you hear that, Majora? It sounds like Sonic 06.
Yeah, I was about to say, hey, I thought you were.
Hey, we don't talk about that game around here. No, I don't.
We all beat it. Why you got to join the party?
Yeah, I beat it, man.
Shadow.
Everyone
That's
beat
why.
it.
Fuck Shadow and his goddamn cars.
What were they thinking?
I've technically suffered through the game twice.
Wait, what? Why did you play it again?
Well, the second time we all played it.
Oh,
God. The first time it was our freshman year, and it was mostly
the first time I played through it. I played through it all on my own during spring break, and oh my God. This is the worst spring break ever.
Do you guys want to hear something crazy? I literally went out of my way. Okay, so when 06 came out, I was Sonic, it looks so cool. Look at those graphics. And then I didn't have an Xbox at the time, so I go and I beg my friend to borrow her Xbox. I get her Xbox. I borrow Sonic 06, and I played through that whole thing, marathoning it to give it back to her in time. And I don't know what the hell I put myself through, but I don't think I was ever the same after that.
I was the same too, because all they showed were just the mock speed sections where you run super duper fast and the crazy graphics.
It's just
those are horrible. They're a nightmare.
Yeah.
Little did we know. I feel like they just fooled us all. They were just like, "Here's a present for you," and we opened the box, and it's Sega's dick just waiting for us. It's like, "Hey, what did you think it was gonna be?"
You gotta do it, Majora, though, because Shadow was the part I had to eat, and I finished that whole foot long. I took it all in my mouth, so you gotta do it too.
I know. I just gotta stop being a bitch and just finish it. But just goddamn, it's
at least the music's amazing. That's one thing.
Yes, at least
the music's really good.
Oh gosh! All
but
right.
I think back to our difficulty discussion that we were having at first. I think like a lot of games like. A lot of these games, like, they have a big problem with artificial difficulty. Like, people will say, "Oh, I beat Halo on Legendary," or "I can beat Call of Duty on Hard," or whatever. Like,
Veteran,
but yeah, that's the computer cheating. It's pretty much cheating. It knows exactly where you are at all times. You peek out of a corner, you get headshotted right off the back. Like, that's not hard. That's just bullshit.
Yeah.
I think the same goes back to 06 with the big thing we said, you're fighting the controls and the camera over everything else. That is the worst camera ever. I'll never forget. There's this one jump I jumped and the camera went, "Hey, what's behind you?" And I was like, "No!" And it just turned around and I died because I could not see where I was going.
Blue is a witness to this. I legitly in Sonic 06 have to stock up on extra lives for a bunch of the bullshit that happens. There's a scripted sequence in Crisis City where Sonic runs. hits a spring and lands on a rail.
Oh,
He hit the dash panels,
Go through
hit
the
the
rail.
spring, and then he went past the rail. I'm like, this is a scripted fucking sequence.
You don't know how many times I
Every
died
time.
right there. And
Every
you're forced to
time.
go that way. There's nowhere else to go. You have to go that way.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid.
it blows my mind. I just,
I
why?
brought up the boost panel because I feel like every boost panel in that game, its sole purpose in life is to fuck you over and destroy you. That's all the boost panels do. When I was playing, all I did was try and avoid every boost panel I could, because if you hit him, you go fucking out of control. You can't control Sonic anymore.
What games do we have under the actually challenging category, you guys?
I think for me, I know the Demon Souls and Dark Souls community will agree. Like, yeah, they're difficult, and even those games, they still have some artificial difficulty, like fucking Man-Eater boss and.
That's what I've heard.
and
It's
Demon
just
Souls.
like it's just super hard just because like stuff kills you really fast. That's,
Well, I think it's hard because it's just the way the combat works. Like, it's that deliberate slow pace that it goes at. Like, you're not able to just jump around, slash crazy, do all these fancy tricks, and it's like you have to like really pay attention to enemy patterns. Like, but I mean, like once you're out over that hump of like meeting a new enemy and you figure out how to fight it, the game's fairly easy. I mean, there's still like those bosses like Ornstein and Smo, like they're still gonna be difficult as hell just because there's two of them versus one person. Unless you go around and you get a whole bunch of other people to help you out with the boss.
I just what do you guys say is an actual challenge versus just being cheap? I'd say any game that you can, that's like hard at first or whatever, but it's not controls and it's like after you do it enough and you get good enough at it that you can go through it without like too much of an issue. It's just you having to learn how to play basically. I feel that
Strategy games.
strategy, yeah.
Yeah, hands down, just about
But
any strategy
bullshit with
game.
Advance Wars right now, because the level I was stuck on, man, that game is eating me so hard. Like, there's nothing I could. I think I even followed a guide and I couldn't beat it.
Oh, I feel your pain. It took me such a long time to get past like which one was it? What Captain Zarbicast that was stuck on? Act 20
Yeah.
with the satellite. Yeah, I was like butt flustered to the max at that level. Just what the fuck do I do?
I think it's probably the best example of a challenging game that isn't cheap at all. Super Meat Boy. Would you agree, Majora?
I would agree. It's definitely one of those games where, the more you pick it up and the more you realize, like, like once you get used to the controls of how fast he fucking moves and, just like the gimmicks and like, the gravity and all that shit,
Yeah,
like
'cause-
you can legitimately get through the game.
Yeah, because it's 150% not controls. Those controls are flawless. There's not an ounce wrong with those controls. in my opinion.
However, my game pick, I think, is going to be extremely debatable. I think that a game that is actually hard and not cheap hard is Zelda 2.
I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that because if you like, I've seen. Okay, I'll like go through one like temple or whatever and die in 5 seconds. You go through the entire game with not even dying, which
I've
blows
only
my
done
mind.
that once, but I mean, for the most part, it's one of those games where.
Majora, you're just like I've only done that one
I don't
time.
mean to
No
I'm
biggie.
not trying to sound like this crazy god at the game. I'm not. I'm definitely not. But what I'm trying to say is, it's definitely one of those games. Once you pick up on the enemy patterns, and once again, it's a game of its own. It's nothing like hey, like someone asks you like, hey, is Spirit Tracks hard? Like, well, let me ask you. Have you played Phantom Hourglass? Have you played Link to the Past? Have you played Minish Cap? Like, yeah, I played
Right.
all three of those. Okay, then you'll be fine. Zelda 2 is its own legit only game. So it's just like it's you have
I
to
definitely
actually learn
agree.
it.
I definitely say that's a challenge. I don't think it's very cheap at all if you really know what you're doing. Because like once I start getting the hang of it, you get the controls down, the patterns. Like you can do it. Like it's not impossible, obviously.
I think the thing that defines like true difficulty in the game is when you're able to get past. Like, I think it's like all about like learning the game. Like, once you've learned the game, you can do everything you need to do.
Oh,
Yeah,
a
like,
really
it's,
good.
It's just that initial like difficulty curve, but like once you get past it, the whole game gets. It's not easy still, but I mean it's still like it's a challenge then.
I have a fun example that I actually saw the other day because my friend was playing Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, and there's like this mini game. What's Grunty's like helper dude, the green guy?
Funko.
Clunko. So he's apparently a good guy or whatever, and he gives you these like 8-bit like video game challenges or whatever. And the final boss of the game is Grunty, and all you have to do is jump over her fireball, but like if you have to jump before you even see it. Like you if you see the fireball at that millisecond you hit A to jump, it's too late and it'll hit you. You have to jump before it comes out, and you only get to jump once. And it comes out randomly. Like it can come out like 30 seconds into it. It can come out the minute it starts.
Oh my god. But going back to what Gerp said about how, like, if you just keep practicing, get better at it. That's a kind of like, I'm not saying that's a bad definition. I mean, it's very good, but there are some people who take that way too fucking far. And by that I mean like shit like Kaizo Mario. They're just, oh, if you save state a bunch of times and if you get used to the pattern, Kaizo Mario's
Yeah.
easy as shit. And I'm just
No, yeah, I mean that people do go too far with it, but I definitely say that's probably the definition. Like something like people say Sonic's too hard just because you can't go through it without like dying or whatever if you don't know
getting
the
motion
level at all.
sickness.
I just feel like if just because you can't go through a Sonic level that you don't know anything about without dying doesn't make it hard. It's one of those games that you're meant to go through multiple times to learn the patterns down, which people did in the old days without complaining. But now that Sonic still makes you do that, the game's too hard. I can't beat it in one go.
Well, I think a lot of people are used to games being easier now, and that's
Yeah.
why they complain. But like GURPS was saying, I think a game that's a really good example of that. I haven't played it myself, but watching you play GURPS is God Hand. God Hand is a game that's like really hard, but it's not cheap. You just kind of have to learn
I never
what
feel
to
like
do.
I've been cheated on that game. I'm still stuck on that. Yeah, that's probably on my backlog too. I need to finish it. But I mean, like the game's genuinely hard. Like you can get all the best shit you can in the game, but you're still gonna get hit every now and then because it's like, oh shit, you weren't paying attention for like one split second when one of the fat guys like dives at you because you're on level die.
Right. There's one song from that game that's really good that I keep hearing on 4-Player podcast. I don't know what the name of it is.
It's probably Floating Fort, maybe. Because I know that one's my favorite theme. It's either that one or it's the intro, possibly.
I'll have to show you after we're done recording. But yeah, I don't know. What other games are just straight up cheap? Because we named a good few challenging ones.
Cheap games. A lot of old NES games are pretty cheap.
I know that I would definitely say the Ghouls and Ghosts are definitely under that category.
Oh
I think.
gosh.
It's not. You can't like learn to go through it. It's something. It's just,
Which
I
one,
mean-
Ghosts and Goblins?
They're straight
Or-
cheap.
Yeah.
Shit.
The game doesn't really give you the actual tools to
Right.
battle through like something you can just see. Oh, okay, I see where I messed up. No, it's literally just every single odd is stacked against you.
And I think that
Pretty
was
much.
probably a lot of old arcade games because they were trying to get more money out of you, so they pull bullshit like fucking what was it, Gauntlet? Gauntlet had some like absolute bullshit. Like, oh shit,
Oh,
I fucking
God.
died instantly. Oh boy, now I got to shell out more, like another 50 cents to be able to play some more.
So many
Gauntlet.
lost
I love
quarters.
that game. Wizard is hungry. Is in need of food. I love that game.
Yellow
I think-
Maid, it's dying.
I think a good comparison would probably be like Castlevania 1 versus Castlevania 2.
Yep. Yep.
Pulling
Yep.
from some AVGN right here, but I
Or
mean,
even
it's-
some Ego Raptor, the sequelitis. He did a great comparison between
Yeah.
the two.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, Castlevania 1 was legitimately challenging and it gave you the tools you needed to actually beat it. And then Castlevania
Right.
2, half the shit you don't even know what you're doing. You have to like just know that that's what you're supposed to do in the game. Like the stupid fucking the tornado. Like how
Yeah.
are you supposed to know
Yeah,
that?
no, stuff
How
like
is
that blows
anybody
my
supposed to know
mind.
that?
You know how you're supposed to know? You got to get the power,
Well, you
Nintendo
gotta get the
power.
Nintendo power.
Oh God, is that? Are we good? Are we all done ranting now?
I think I'm good.
I think we're good.
All right, then I think it's time for everybody's favorite segment. You done goofed with Captain Zarby.
Yay.
Bye.
What do you got
Here
for
we
us this
go.
week, Captain?
Okay. This first comment comes to us courtesy of Krzysiek19861.
What's with
And
these names?
This was in reference to the question, why are Japanese players so good at fighting games?
Oh,
And here was his response. Only Japanese can play like this. Why? Because they know lives. Why are they poor and weak? They spend 48/24 near TV and games. Once again, this is someone who studies, I guess he studies the culture of Japan and Japanese people, and he's finally given us the answer we've been looking for.
I'm so glad he dropped those words of wisdom on us. Oh my
I am
God.
too.
48/24. It's deep.
I
I think
am too.
one of my favorite things about editing these shows are reading the actual text while I hear your voice read it, and just seeing the misspellings and stuff really get me.
Okay, the next one, I don't really know what he was so upset about in regards to the video. It was an IGN video for some 360 game, but this is from Ali Tap on YouTube. And anyway, this is what he had to say. This is how he feels about IGN. Fuck you, IGN, you fucking Xbox dick sucker and PS3 hater. Fuck you.
That's it.
Ali Tap. That was it.
That's all he had to say.
I'm glad he kept it short and sweet. You know, he didn't beat around the bush. He really let them know what he thinks of them, and that's just how he feels.
At least he didn't say he was gonna go find their daughters and fuck them in front of them until their guts come out and shit.
Oh God,
dear Lord! And
Sometimes
then
I feel like people take the internet just way too fucking seriously.
It's because they're anons, and like I'm anonymous. I can say whatever I want. I have all the power in the world. Stuff like that.
Now moving into what I think will be the last two. These actually came courtesy of, I don't know if you guys have ever seen The Online Gamer, Majora Blue, by Reckless Tortuga on YouTube.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, it's a series they do, and it pretty much parodies like hardcore Call of Duty players. But anyway, these comments come courtesy of that video, and let's get into it. The first one comes from Said Simpsons, and what he had to say was, why the girls have a PS2 game and after have a PS3 to buy. Take that as you will. I don't know what he actually meant, so take that as you will.
I'm so confused.
This next comment comes from a little spat that I guess two lovers had on this video about the video being censored, the language being censored in the video. And this specific response comes from Thumbs Downish. And what he had to say was, dude, it not calming down. It sin cord, you retarded fucking faggot.
What?
Thumbs Downish, once again. Yeah, he told him.
Oh, God.
Dear Lord.
And all these people, for now, I don't want to put you guys through anymore. All these people have goofed. Let's leave it at that. It only get worse week by week.
Those are some gems.
Those were. And that was You Done Goofed with Captain Zarby once again. God damn it. I just I almost want to change the name to I don't understand how these fucking people exist, but god damn it, I really don't. I don't get it.
Stupid should be allowed on the internet. There should be a law like where you have to like scan your like finger or something. You have to go like register. Like if your IQ is above like below like 80 or something, don't touch a keyboard. Don't go anywhere near a fucking computer because you're too stupid to use it.
I would love to see an alternate universe where this is how people talked in real life, like face to face.
It's just fascinating because it seems like they have a coherent thought of what they were trying to convey, and then they get to the keyboard and they just slam their face into it, and they just that looks pretty good.
I mean, they wouldn't pull this shit in English class. Their English teacher would jump up their ass about it, but the internet, that's totally fine.
It's because that the English teacher would never do that because then they get a strongly worded email with all the misspellings in the world about
I've
how
seen,
they
like,
suck
pictures of like Facebook statuses talking about like so and so I hate this teacher, and like the teacher will just fucking like basically trash their shit for their horrible grammar.
Okay, you guys. Well, we've had a good run today. It's a little shorter than our other ones. It would look like.
Yeah, but this one was more topic heavy than actually about the games, and I feel like we can all talk about the games endlessly.
We didn't really have all that much news to go off of either this week.
Yeah, that bed is clean, unfortunately, because we have a new one since they fucking soiled the shit out of it last time.
We got a new one. I wonder how long this one's gonna last.
All right, you guys. Well, that wraps it up for this Zarbicast, and I have an announcement to make before before we end this here, and that is, you guys, all my subscribers who watch this, is that I have basically a free week because through some unfortunate events, I would not have a job for a week. Hopefully, just 1, maybe 2 weeks. But that's good news for you guys because I'm going to be pumping out Let's Plays finally. After it's only been like 5 months or whatever. But I'm finally going to get back on Four Swords and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. And I promise I will have a few videos. Well, I'll have a few done. Probably release just 2 for this week. And then I'll try to spread them out through as long as I can. Because I know you guys have abandoned you a little bit. So I'm promising you right now. I'm making a promise in front of the Zarbicast.
We'll hold you to it.
We'll make sure you do it.
I would like to also add that, like,
up eventually.
It would also help if we could get some more feedback on these podcasts. Let us know how we're doing, what your opinions are. Like, we want to feel like we're able to like talk to like people listening. Also,
I really would love to add a segment at the end, just like commentary or whatever. Where we just get to, we'll respond to you guys. Just leave a message or a comment. We'll talk. Like, we'll answer whatever the hell you want to ask.
I just have this to say: why won't you comment? You guys came out and watched the first Zarbicast in droves and not a single comment. Why won't you comment? We practically begged you last episode. I don't know what I have to do to get you guys to comment or to rate the video.
Oh, God.
Tell us what you like. Call us faggots. That works. Just say, hey, you guys are faggots.
Hate too. We're not saying we only need the praise. Like, if you hate us, let us know.
Let us know
how you feel.
We would like more productive comments, though, if possible. If you call us faggots, explain why we're faggots, and then we'll try to get back to you on that.
Give us a little dissertation on why we are faggots.
Oh, God. All right. So, yeah, leave comments. I don't know how much more Captain Zarby can take before he explodes.
I swear to God, if this next one doesn't get a single comment, not even one.
All right, you guys. Well, this has been the Zarbicast. With me, as always, Captain Zarby.
Take it easy.
Gerps. He sounds so upset, Captain Zarby.
I am. You know what? I'm pissed. I'm thinking about it. It's really pissing me off.
Oh, God. All right, Gerps.
What's the haps?
Love Slug.
You guys better comment, please.
And hopefully someone who will be on the podcast more.
As a regular.
If he gets his job scheduled better.
I hate my job.
PSI Majora.
Yes, I hate my job, and I'll see you guys later.
And of course, as always, I am BlueZenigame, and I'll see you guys later.